Hello, and thank you for the invitation and the opportunity to present to you today. I'm really sorry I can't be there. I actually really enjoy having conversations with people about procurement and where we're going in the future. Clearly, we're at an exciting point in the development of procurement as a lot of things are changing right now, and there's a whole new set of opportunities opening up for us professionally as we move forward. So the background to this is I was asked by a couple of CPOs back in August about my thoughts about where procurement would be going in the future. And so consequently, I created an infographic that you may have seen on LinkedIn. Over 50,000 people actually looked at that, and I got quite a lot of feedback, which was always exciting and interesting to hear what people think. So let me talk through now my top 10 predictions about where procurement is going in the future. I would encourage you to think about where you think we will go in the future. What changes will occur, and how will our profession evolve as we move forwards. Certainly, we're probably at the point of most change in the history of procurement, I would think, in terms of where we come from. Certainly, when I started in procurement in 1986, it was a long way from where we are now, but even further for where we could get to in the future. So let me walk you through my top 10, and please feel free to provide feedback. This is a bit of an eye chart, so let me go to each of these 10 points individually. And you can find more information about this on my website, crh-innovation.com. The first one, the technology asteroid kills the procurement dinosaur. So there's a huge amount of procurement technology coming now. I have a database. I track over 300 procurement technology companies, all of which have at least one product or service on the market. The key things that you're seeing now are AI, artificial intelligence, RPA, robotic process automation, machine learning, and of course, blockchain. And many of the technologies now actually incorporate one or more of those different capabilities. The asteroid is coming. It's going to hit us. It's arriving now. All of the companies I track actually already have products on the market, so it's already arriving. But the procurement dinosaur is really the transactional side of procurement. So if you think about strategic, operational, and transactional processes, the technology is certainly going to replace the transactional side of what we do and have a big impact on both the strategic and operational side. Now, the thing about an asteroid is that, and as you know, when the asteroid hit the Earth 66 million years ago, it had been coming for a long, long time. But if you were a dinosaur looking up, you wouldn't actually see it until the last 2 or 3 minutes. And I think part of the challenge for procurement right now is we actually really need to look up and see what's there and what's available and what's coming. If we don't, I think what we're going to see a year from now is that the technology companies are going to be talking directly to our CEOs, CFOs, CIOs about how they can revolutionize and transform procurement without our participation. So key thing for us in procurement right now is to look at what are the opportunities for technology, create a procurement technology roadmap, and create a tech stack in terms of the technologies that you're going to implement. My recommendation would be, assuming you've got a procure-to-pay backbone in place, that's obviously the first step. But once you have that for requisitions, purchase orders, invoices, and payments, and once you have that, I'd recommend that you start to look at some of the operational processes and look at technologies which go across categories. So rather than pick up a particular category technology, focus on something that's going to help multiple areas of spend and particular pain points that you might have. So for example, it could be a contract management system that you need. It could be SRM, it could be procurement analytics, or whatever. So have a look at technologies that really will resolve some of the pain points you have at the moment. It's always easier to implement innovative technologies if they're resolving a painful business issue rather than creating something that's totally new. Through Maslow, people tend to be accepting of innovation if it is issue focused. The bottom line of the bottom level of Maslow. So look up, have a look at the technology that's out there, create a technology roadmap over the next few years, and work out what your tech stack's going to be in terms of the different technologies. Many companies are doing, many of these procurement technology companies are doing free pilots right now. So that's an opportunity to develop a use case, look at what's appropriate for you. Don't try and do too much, but at least get going, because if you don't get going, I think a year from now, the technology companies will be hammering at other doors within your company. Artificial intelligence is coming everywhere. It will mean a lot of job losses potentially, and new jobs created as well. One of the darker forecasts I've seen is that potentially 800 million jobs are lost through artificial intelligence. Now, in the world, there are about 3.3 billion people in paid employment right now, but potentially up to a quarter of those, nearly a quarter of those, could go through artificial intelligence. So what does that mean? It means that our business partners that we work with will be able to interact with systems that can do a lot of what we currently do. And so why would those business partners want to even work with a procurement person? And sometimes, we can be difficult and challenging and push back. And so why would they want to do that? So I think we're going to have to become more valuable, show that we're more valuable than the artificial intelligence. So this is about human centricity. It's about empathic connection with people in the business. It's about, instead of just having category strategies, have maybe a strategy for that key business partner in terms of what we bring to him or her. And underneath of that, of course, it can be category strategies, but what is it from a human perspective? How do you connect, and how do you create strategies, and how do you have relationships with people in the business that enable us to add more value beyond the AI? So the human centricity, therefore, becomes a primary procurement success determinant. CrowdJIC has been around for many years. We grew up on CrowdJIC. CrowdJIC dies as the focus moves from competition to collaboration. So what is this? CrowdJIC, in my mind, talks to competition. How do you drive competition between suppliers? Who has more power, that sort of thing. And I think competition is right in certain situations. Competition drives prices downwards, but collaboration enables you to, through mutual value creation with suppliers, to create value and co-create value beyond just a price focus. I think there'll always be a place for driving competition, but I think for me, collaboration becomes far more important, and more value gets delivered from collaboration than gets delivered from competition. Beyond cost savings to creation of value opportunity pathways. Now, we've always been measured on cost savings and what we're able to deliver to the business in terms of cost savings, cost avoidance. But I think in the future, AI presents the opportunity for us to create different value opportunity pathways. So working with our partners in the business, working potentially with suppliers, we can come up with alternatives. So like, we can go this way, these are the costs, these are the benefits, these are the risks, these are the potential outcomes. Or we could go this way and give the business an alternative about, well, we could try something different, and we could do this, we could have this much risk, this much potential benefit, but there might be a bigger cost involved. And so I see us moving in procurement to creating value opportunity pathways. And by the way, I actually think the word procurement needs to go, because I think there's an opportunity for us now to move beyond just managing third-party spend to really creating value across the business. And that includes the revenue, includes the operating costs of the business, the whole business operating model, and of course the third-party spend that we've always been associated with. Procurement value statements and human connections are the top KPIs. So we talk about value, and typically in procurement, it's obviously cost reduction, but there are really six or more value types that we add. Not only cost reduction, we can create headcount efficiencies in the business, speed time as we can accelerate or reduce the time taken to do a particular process, risk management as we can help manage business risks, customer service improvement that can be internal and of course external customers, and then revenue growth. So those six, the cost, the headcount, the speed time, the risk, the customer service, and the revenue generation are the typical six value types that procurement deliver. But I think going on there, beyond that now, we're looking much more in the ESG field, so environmental, sustainability, governance areas, and also the whole innovation area in terms of what are we bringing to the business in total. So I think we'll probably always have cost savings, cost reduction as measures and targets for procurement. But I think I see this moving more to value statements. And a value statement is a very simple thing. It's meaningful to the business partner and it's measurable by finance. So let me give you an example or a few examples, right? So, where are we now? Where do we want to get to? And by when will we get there? So cost reduction is easy, right? We're currently paying X. We want to reduce the price to Y, and we want to get there by the end of the month. Or this process currently takes, the contract process currently takes 7 weeks but we want to get it down from 7 weeks to 3 days, and we want to do it by the end of June of next year. So value statements are, where are we now? Where do we want to get to? And when are we going to get there? It has to be meaningful to the business partner. So it's really what the business partner are looking for, but it has to be measurable as well, typically by finance. And then the other KPI I see is how well are we connecting with the business? Do we really understand the business? Do the business really trust us? Are we in there and actively involved in everything? Do we have that? That opportunity to work and collaborate and create value for the business? So for me, I think the two KPIs of procurement in the future are the value statements, and then part of that is how well are we connecting with the business. The fifth of the 10 that I see is partner choice. So everyone likes to think they are the customer choice for our suppliers. And of course, over the last couple of years with COVID, we've actually seen who is the preferred customer choice, who does get the first deliveries when there's an inventory or supply chain issue. Who gets that first? We all want to be that preferred customer. I actually worked in the sales and marketing myself for 4 years, and surprisingly, the customer that got the best from us in terms of service, quality, first access to innovation and so on, was not the customer with the largest revenue, and it was not the customer with the highest percentage margin, which is kind of surprising. So why is it that we were giving this particular customer everything? Well, it came down primarily to the relationship between the two companies. Both companies were supporting each other, and we were getting value from them. They were getting value from us. So this whole concept of mutual value creation and working together with your key suppliers, real partners, to deliver more value, I think becomes more important. So I think what we'll start to see is partner of choice relationships becoming public. So a company and their supplier of committing together to work together over a longer period of time, maybe 3 years, where they co-create value together. Now, you need to sort out the issue of intellectual property, who owns the value that's created and how does the benefit get shared, first access, a special pricing, royalties on third-party sales or whatever it may be. But you need a mechanism. But I see the whole partnership area becoming much more visible and firm and contractual, and companies working together, not with hundreds of partners, but maybe 2 or 3 partners who they can work with, who can bring innovation and value to that company by working together. And so you ask yourself the question, why do I treat this company, this supplier, this partner as a separate company? Why don't I treat them as really an extension of my own business? And if I'm not treating them that way, why is that? What is it holding us back from doing that? So this is a trusted relationship where confidentiality is important, and there's more sharing of information, two-way information, to create more value together from a partner choice relationship. That was number 5. Number 6 is innovation focused on category strategies and supplier value creation. And what do I mean by that? I believe that if you spend long enough on innovation, you can innovate anything. So this pen, if I were to spend a day or a week on it, I could probably maybe come up with a better idea, or a team of us could come up with a better pen than this, maybe a different color or something, right? But that's not really going to add much value to our business or actually help our customers. So whilst we don't want to stifle innovation, I think it's important to focus innovation on where there's the biggest value, potential value gain, the biggest incremental value gain from innovation. And when we look at procurement and all the different processes that we have in procurement, I would suggest that there's two particular process steps where there's great opportunity. And so it's what are the process steps, and who are the people doing those process steps, and how do you focus on driving innovation with those people in those process steps? But the two are category strategies and supplier value creation. So when you're developing a category strategy, how are you going to manage this category going forwards, working with people in the business, potentially working with suppliers as well? The area where you actually generate the process step, where you actually generate the creative ideas about what could we do with this category, with this supplier, with this market, how could we change and add more value? I think that is a great opportunity, right? This is not about 3 bids and a buy. This is about radically changing, disruptively changing the way that we're going to be managing this category, these suppliers, this market in future to create significantly more value through innovation. And the second one is supplier value creation. All companies have suppliers. Some of the clients I work with are large companies with 20, 30, 40,000 suppliers, right? That's a huge potential innovation pool. And if you were to look at just the innovation spend of your top 20 suppliers, right, their R&D spend, which is typically in their annual reports, you'll be amazed how much money your suppliers are spending on research and development. So they welcome or would welcome a chance to collaborate with you to better focus that R&D spend, right? So if you can work with your suppliers, create relationships where you can get the innovation from your suppliers, that's tapping into and influencing an innovation pipeline beyond your company, which can bring value to your company as well. Don't stop innovating in other areas, of course, by all means, but you can't innovate everything. And if everybody came up with ideas, you'd be swamped with ideas and you wouldn't be able to implement them. So you need to carefully think about where do you want to target your innovation to bring most value to your organization. Okay, the Procurement Metaverse of VR, conversational AI avatars, train, communicate, and negotiate. Let me take a step back at the moment. You've probably heard quite a lot in the news recently about the metaverse, right? So Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg was looking at how to create a metaverse, and they've just a couple of months ago launched a business product for the metaverse. The metaverse is a virtual reality enabled digital environment. What that means is a place in the future where you'll be able to put on a headset, both in your social life, but also in your business life, and actually through the metaverse, be able to connect with business partners, suppliers, your friends, and so on as well. And you'll see portals, a lot of companies working on portals right now that will enable you to go from one metaverse to another metaverse. Now, Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, are investing heavily in this, and you probably saw they announced last month they're recruiting now 10,000 people over the next few years to focus on building their metaverse. They have set a goal to get 1 billion people on the metaverse within 10 years. And of course, they changed the name, right? They're now, it was Facebook, is now, the parent is now called Meta, M-E-T-A. So the metaverse is coming. The metaverse, this time I believe it is, the metaverse potentially consumes the internet. So whereas at the moment we think of the internet as a keyboard and a screen and something we access, in the future, the metaverse will be your headset where you'll be able to connect to people in a virtual reality environment, but you'll be able to call up and access the internet through your virtual reality metaverse environment. So forget keyboards, forget screens, the data is there and you can talk and ask for what you want. So that's the metaverse. But then when we think about what does that mean for procurement, I think we're going to see a procurement metaverse. We're going to see a world where we can put on a headset and have meetings with suppliers, our business partners, and where we can access the procurement technology. So all of the technology that's coming right now that I talked about earlier, all these hundreds of different companies, how does that all connect together? I think we're going to see that in the procurement metaverse. Now, the first Procurement Metaverse enabled technology is going to be coming out in Q1 of next year, a company called L'Avenir AI. L'Avenir is French for the future. L'Avenir AI is actually combines virtual reality with conversational AI. Now, I think everyone understands what virtual reality is. You know, you put on a headset. Of course, Mark Zuckerberg bought Oculus to try and grab that technology as well. So, but conversational AI is the ability to have free-form, human-like conversation with avatars that learn everything from what you say and are able to have a conversation back with you. And ultimately, you don't know whether you're talking to a real person or you're talking to an avatar that's run by a conversational artificial intelligence. So what you're going to see in Q1 next year through L'Avenir AI is the ability to train for negotiation with sales avatars. So in other words, you'll be able to sit down either on a two-dimensional on screen or three-dimensional through a VR headset. You'll be able to sit down and negotiate, practice your negotiation with a sales avatar or sales avatars with different personas. But moving beyond that, the exciting thing as well is not only will you be able to train using avatars, but you will eventually be able to teach those avatars to go out and negotiate for you. So you'll be able to, instead of having to negotiate every deal, right, you'll be able to train your own avatar, and it goes out to do the negotiation with the salesperson or the salesperson's avatar, as it may be, and the best avatar wins, sort of thing in that as well. So exciting times ahead. The Procurement Metaverse, digital technology, VR digital environment where we can actually connect with the different technologies, and the first one comes out in Q1 next year. Now, all this technology and the changing role of procurement, I think, changes some of the competencies that are going to be important in procurement people, one of which is empathic listening, the ability to really connect empathically heart to heart, maybe with your business partners and with your suppliers. On top of that, though, the ability to be creative and analytical, to come up with new ideas and new opportunities, to take accountability for implementing that, collaborating, influencing, and promoting the strategies and your company with your suppliers and, of course, with your business partners as well. And then finally, number 10, I think procurement become the sustainability engineers and the business risk angels. So what this means is sustainability engineers. So as I mentioned earlier, ESG is going to be really big in 2022 and beyond, and it's coming both from sort of roots up and top down as well. Companies are moving much more to being much more environmentally sustainability focused. People are feeling that more themselves and driving that as well within their own business. And I think the role for procurement becomes the role of in engineering the supply chain network to improve and meet sustainability goals. And of course, we have huge a multiplier effect, the ability to influence maybe 100, maybe 1,000 supplier organizations in our network as well. And at the same time, becoming the risk angels for the business, really taking that overall view of looking at what the business risks are and how do we help manage those risks. I mean, minimize and manage the risk as best possible for the business. So those are the top 10. The technology asteroid killing the procurement dinosaur, all that new technology coming. Human centricity, the importance of us connecting with people within the business and suppliers better than the artificial intelligence, which is coming everywhere, not just in business, but also in our own social lives as well. And the move from competition to more collaboration becoming more important. The move beyond just cost savings to looking at value opportunity pathways. How can we help support the business in new, different ways and give them alternatives? Value statements, measuring the value that we deliver to the business and the importance of human connection with suppliers and with people in the business. Partner choice, those strategic relationships with maybe 2 or 3 external organizations to co-create more value and mutual value creation. Number 7, focusing innovation on better, stronger, more powerful, disruptive, innovative category strategies, and pulling out and collaborating with suppliers to create more value, and really leveraging our suppliers as an innovation source that we can work with. And number 8 is the whole procurement metaverse. Conversational AI, being a part of that, virtual reality, conversational AI, and we're going to see that coming starting next year, the first procurement metaverse enabled technology. And then that's changing the competencies of procurement people somewhat, not radically, but certainly the whole empathy, creativity, analytical, accountable side becomes more important. And then finally, number 10, procurement taking on this much greater role of sustainability engineers and business risk angels. So those are my my top 10. Please feel free to reach out to me, check out my website, contact me by email, and I certainly welcome the opportunity to connect with people on LinkedIn. I think I've got about 17,000 followers at the moment, but I welcome a chance to hear your thoughts and ideas in terms of where you think procurement will be going in the future. So that's it for me, and please enjoy the rest of your conference, and I look forward to hearing the outcomes and your thinking too. Have a great day.